This is Joshua Hart here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by lethal Leigh Wood here in London. Leigh, it's been a while. How's everything, first of all, mate? Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you again, mate. Been a while. Good to be back. When I got this fight nailed down and signed and sealed, delivered, such a relief. I love boxing. I love actually fighting. Not so much the politics side of things, but buzzing to be back, mate.
Back in Nottingham as well. It's been over 2.5 years now. I think the last time you fought in Nottingham was the first Lara fight. Are you just excited to get back in front of that Nottingham crowd? Because we know what the atmosphere can be like on those nights.
The atmosphere is going to be unbelievable. We sold more tickets than we've ever sold. Just saying then, I thought my big night was supposed to be the Conor night when I won, but because I thought I might have really hurt him or possibly even it killed him at the time. I didn't know what was happening. He just went off to hospital and I didn't really celebrate that night. And it got delayed and it was never the same. Even the next morning when I seen him come back to the hotel and I thought, I must go check he's all right. I went up to him and he said, "Let's run it back." Oh, fucking what a prick. Do you know what I mean? I've wrecked my whole celebrations all night and the first thing you say, "Let's run it back." You know what I mean? But so that night was a bit of a damper. But fast forward to Lara 1, got caught with that silly shot, got a bit greedy in front of my own fans. Got the rematch, put it right, but it was in Manchester, so it wasn't the same. Although a lot of people say it had a great sing-song, it wasn't in my own city. And then my biggest domestic win against Warrington was in Sheffield as well, so it wasn't in my own city. So really looking forward to going back to my own city now, and the supports grew massively. I've gone off 2 really good wins since the last time I boxed here. We sold more than we ever sold, faster than we ever sold them. So massive thank you to all of the support. Which is not just Nottingham, mainly Nottingham, but all over the shop, up and down the country, Scotland, down near London, Kent, all around the Midlands, all over the shop, to be honest, Manchester, Leeds. So massive thank you to everyone coming. It's got behind me, and some night, some atmosphere it's going to be.
Anthony Cacace is the man across the ring from you. What is it about Cacace and the style that he's got? We've seen the 2024 that he's just had. What is it about him that excites you and really intrigues you about this matchup?
I think the harder the fight, the better the opposition brings the best out of me. You've seen that time and time again. And also from a fan's point of view, I feel like when a fighter gets a good win, they actually get better, and that's like due to confidence and momentum and things. So we're both coming off some really good wins. He's coming off the Cordina and the Warrington win. I'm coming off the Lara rematch and the Warrington win. So. It's guaranteed to be a great fight. Both oozing with confidence, and we both think we're going to get the job done. I'm confident I'm going to get the job done, which makes for a fantastic fight for the fans.
It's been obviously a long time since I last saw you in the Warrington night, which one of my favourite nights in boxing. That was the last time we seen you. While frustrating not to fight last year, after a really busy run in 2023, was it quite nice to have a bit of a year out while staying in the gym, but just resting, recovering and whatnot?
Absolutely not.
Oh, no?
No, I just spent the whole time missing boxing, missing fighting. I was injured for a little bit. Well, first of all, I wasn't, and then was talking about the Warrington rematch, and that was, in my opinion, I thought that was pretty much nailed down, and then got my injury, and that nickled for a little bit, and then went back to negotiate and things weren't the same, and I've kind of had my back up a little bit, which wasn't the best looking back, but it is what it is. But then, I thought I'd like the Cacace fight because there was fighting Warrington. I thought, I won that fight. Why is he fighting Warrington? I won that fight. I should be fighting him. And then when I started negotiating, my team's like, you're not even going to be ready for that show. And I wasn't going to be ready for that show. I was just being a bit optimistic, and my injuries actually niggled a lot longer than expected, so I'm glad I've got a good team around me. But then obviously I wanted the winner of that fight, and Frank delivered and got it signed, and eventually, and I was never happier. And this little spell that I've had out of the ring has reminded me how much I love fighting. Not so much the politics side of boxing, but the actual fighting.
Just a quick one on the Lara 2 fight, which is a bit weird. It's very rare at this stage. We talk about a fight nearly 2 years ago, but we had the news a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago now, that there was actually a failed drug test from Mauricio Lara in there, which I believe you were only notified about on the day the news broke. When you got that call, and especially so long after the fight, what was going through your head that day?
First of all, I thought, I seen the headline. Someone spoke to me and he said, "Oh, we're just about to run this piece before they'd posted it. But just about to run this piece about Lara failing this test." I thought, for my fight, I thought, well, that's strange that I've not been notified. But first thing I asked was, what was it for? And I looked at the substance and I thought, and I did a quick search, and what it was for was some kind of cream, like an eczema cream, which you can rub on you to raise temperature to help you sweat and stuff. I don't know, but looking at the way Lara fights, even if he was on a better substance or a more dangerous substance, it wouldn't have affected the result in that fight. Like, the way he fights is not like a pressure on your work rate kind of fight. Or strength is like, it's a counter puncher, quite laid back, and I was throwing his timing off and things, and that's how the fight would have gone regardless. And also, I look at things like, after he weighs in, he has a pizza and a can of Coke. It's not someone that looks like is a overperformer. But these are there for a reason, to protect people. So whatever they found is the reason. I don't know. They know more than me, but I don't think it was intentional to get an intentional advantage. I just think it was misinformed, or his team didn't know exactly what they was doing or what they should have. To be honest.
Just back on Cacace, obviously, assuming all goes well on May 10th, while I know you don't want to look past that date, what other names in the super featherweight division intrigue you? Especially, I know that you're still going to say you want the City Ground fight, which I'm sure all of Nottingham want you to get. But what names do you feel would be fitting at that division to host the City Ground with you?
There's only probably a few names. That WBC title, I've wanted that since I was a kid. Obviously watch win the WBC, but I think for like 4 years now I've been asking for the Navarrete fight. I think that's a great style matchup, would make a tremendous fight, and I know what I need to do to beat him. The similarities in that fight with the previous opponent. So yeah, I think that's the mouth-watering one. But like you just said, it's fight by fight, and we'll assess what's next after the fight.
One thing you've mentioned in your career a lot, especially in the last few years, is you don't know how many fights you've got left. In an interview with SecondsOut a while back, you mentioned that you obviously wanted to originally retire at the end of 2024. What was the reason for you extending and continuing now? We're sat here April 2025, and
well, the main thing is I didn't fight in 2024. No, it's like the reason I say like I don't know how many fights I've got left isn't because I'm not performing, isn't because my body's not capable. It's because of taking the shots, and I've took no shots in 2024. No sparring, no fight. So that's the only thing that keeps me a little apprehensive for how many more. It's not the fact that I can't do it, because I'm performing and my experience is at the top end now, and my performance is meeting my experience, and I've got everything to gain, and all the fights I believe I'm at my best. But I'm a little conscious of not having too many fights, not taking too much punishment, and living a healthy life after boxing. So that's why I said I'm not sure how many more left. It's not so much what you see on Fight Night, it's to get you to that point, how many spars, how many shots you take on the way, the process of it. But yeah, like I'm not saying this is my last one, that's my last one. I'm taking it fight by fight. I've always said since moving to Ben, we'll take it fight by fight, and then we'll assess after.
Have you got a plan for what you'd like to do once you leave professional boxing? Would you like to maybe stick around in a different aspect of the sport, or maybe take some time away?
Yeah, possibly. I might. I will work within boxing a little bit. I want to manage a few fighters, make sure no one's getting bumped, and looking after kids, giving guidance, and using my experience to help them. When I first turned pro, I was paying like 33.3%. It's a third of your money. It's crazy, but I won't mind just helping fighters out and not taking hardly anything off them, and giving them guidance, and using my experience and saying, look, maybe that fight this time or not that fight this time, and just helping them out a little bit, and maybe working on comms a little bit, and just staying in boxing a little bit, because boxing has been most of my life, and I've known boxing more with boxing than without boxing for my whole life. So I don't want to just walk away, because I do love it, but the politics side of boxing I really can't stand. So I wouldn't even mind helping others change that as well. That's a bold statement, because that would be an incredibly hard job.
Well, just moving away from this, I want to pick your brains on a few of the big things going on in boxing. First of all, former opponent Josh Warrington returns this weekend. We were unsure after the Cacace fight whether he was going to continue or not, but he's decided he's going to go on. How much do you believe he's had left? Obviously, looking at the fight with yourself, then looking at the follow-up fight with Cacace, how much do you believe Warrington has left?
I'm not too sure. But I believe when he boxed me, I feel like he was probably at his best. I don't think we've seen him that on it for a long time. Just the moments and how hard he worked, and he was up for it, well up for it. I'm not saying he wasn't after that, but I just feel like he was really on it against me. But yeah, only he can answer that, and I think he will answer that with his performance, not with his words. So we'll see what he fights like in the next fight.
There's been a few rumours going around that him and Michael Conlan, too, another one of your former opponents, are gearing up to hopefully fight later on in the year. Given what you know about both and having shared the ring with both, how do you see that fight going? Who do you think comes out on top?
Great fight. Don't know where they're at. Don't know where their heads are at. Don't know what the camps are like. Don't know how to prepare. But what I will say is that is an interesting fight if it happens sooner rather than later. I'd even give the winner a shot.
I was going to say that. Would you be interested in having a rematch with the winner?
Yeah, because I get a lot of comments. Rematch Warrington, rematch Conlan. He was beating you for this. Yeah, he was beating me until I knocked him out. Great, that's boxing. You know what I mean? Same Warrington, he's beating you. Yeah, until I knocked him out. Great, that's boxing. You can't say, oh yeah, you was winning until you lost. Yeah, it's like saying a football team, oh yeah, you was 2-0 down until you won 4-2. Well, great, you turned it round. That's sport. So I'd like to shut a lot of people up, and because I know I can do a better job in both them circumstances. So no better way to do it than instead of boxing both, but letting them two fight and win, and running it back with the winner. Maybe it's a possibility. I'm not saying it's definite, but it's a possibility.
Just looking within the stable, there's a certain man, Anthony Joshua, who's been in the gym, or not sure as of late. Has Anthony Joshua been in the gym recently?
I think he had a little bit of time off with some niggles, but yeah, I think he will be back.
So you do expect Anthony to return
Possibly,
to the gym?
I don't know. You got to talk to him, but I think I've seen he's been training recently. It looks like he's back on it. So who knows?
Was there any indication in the gym in that build-up to the Dubois fight which showed that he may have struggled against Daniel Dubois, or not really?
No. I think he was nailing what he needed to do. Probably slipped away a little bit on fight night, but in the gym he was nailing his moments that he needed to. So yeah.
And then big fight next weekend, Eubank Jr versus Conor Benn. An interesting take on it, and a big talking point has been Eubank getting down to 160. While a career-long 160 fighter, it was kind of like you at featherweight as well. And you were someone who had very tough weight cuts going down there. For Eubank, a lot of talk about how rough it's going to be for him, and with a rehydration clause the next day. How damaging can the weight drain be, obviously from your experience as well, on fight night? How big of an impact could it ultimately have on Eubank Jr. on the night?
Yeah, the Warrington fight, for me, I knew that was my biggest domestic fight, and I knew I had the belt. I knew I had to make the weight again, and it was like, in my head, it's like, this is the last time I'm making this weight. Regardless of what happens, this is the last time I'm making the weight, but just win this fight at any cost. And I made the weight, and I got cold sore on that. I was ran down a bit. I didn't have to have the £10 weight clause the next morning like the IBF, which I think that what they've got. If I did have that, it would have been extremely hard. I don't even know if I'd even hit that benchmark, that £10. I probably would have been over that. But yeah, it's going to be hard for him, without a doubt.
Last one, can I just get a quick prediction? Eubank Benn, who comes out on top next Saturday?
I don't know, not looking to the camps or anything else, but just that Eubank has been in better fighters, but like you said, the weight will possibly be the telltale signs of a possibility of swinging over to Conor.
Well, Leigh, appreciate your time, and we look forward to May 10th back in Nottingham. Big night against Anthony Cacace.
Can't wait, mate. Thank you.